Welcome to the Inside Tack at INEOS Team UK headquarters for the last time, which feels a bit sad, but that's our reality. We're going to talk to Ben Grant and to Tom Crotty as well, who's with me today, our INEOS Group Director of Corporate Affairs and Communications. I wanted to get that right because it's a mouthy old title, that, isn't it, Tom? We're going to talk about everything, no holds barred. Is that all right with you?
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Sunday, Ben, it was a really big ask in light winds. We've had a few days since to reflect on it. How are you feeling since, and how big a slog was it out there?
Well, like we said on the day, it was tough. It was tough for the whole team and everyone watching, supporters, you know, here and back home and around the world. Wasn't what we wanted. We desperately wanted to get ourselves into that America's Cup final. But it wasn't to be. We went up against a team that were faster across a range of conditions, and we all know in this game, if you're going to win the cup, you got to be the fastest in those range of conditions. So, yeah, it's moments like that are tough to take, but I think we were all incredibly proud of the team and how they reacted to some of the challenges we've had over the last 6 months that we've been down here in New Zealand, and really turned things around, certainly from that Christmas race in the World Series. And pushed incredibly hard. I mean, we didn't leave anything on the table. That period between the round robins and the Prada final, we had the boat in the shed for a couple of weeks in the end. We were trying to do everything we could to get that performance going, and we couldn't quite get there. But that's sport, that's the America's Cup. We've got to go back, reflect on why we didn't get where we wanted to be, and try and set things up and give ourselves the best possible chance to move forwards and to get that job done.
We're going to unpack it all in just a matter of moments. It has been a big old roller coaster ride. We would all say that. It has now come to an end. Here's a reminder of what happened and how it went down in Auckland.
They may have come here looking to reverse the course of history, but right now, the British boat, well, they're struggling.
Still got no board down on this side.
What a way to start this Challenger Series.
This is a really, really big moment for this whole program and all the effort that's gone into getting this boat competitive.
It's definitely the same boat, it's just had quite a few modifications.
INEOS Team UK win Prada Cup Race 1 and get the first points on the board.
Okay, awesome job, guys. Well done, guys. Nice work, guys. 2, 1.
This is far from over yet, so whilst we've won a couple of races, this is just the beginning. We've got a long road ahead of us, and we've got to keep our heads down, keep focused, and keep on that journey.
We are away in racing in the second round robin phase. INEOS Team UK looking to go 3-0.
When you sail with the best, you have to make sure that you can step up and do your part.
Awesome effort, lad. Nice work, boys. Great save.
Tack.
More down now, more down now.
If anyone thought INEOS was going to have trouble, think again. They look strong.
Nice work, lad. Get it up, get the bow up, get it ripping.
It's on in some of the most challenging conditions we have seen to date.
They're trying to set him up on a port starboard.
Protest.
INEOS Team UK go through to the Prada Cup final.
Just been an incredible 3 days through this first round robin phase. And from where we were a couple of weeks ago, the team's pulled out just about every stop possible.
It is on Prada Cup Finals 2021.
INEOS Team UK had a bit of a punch to the gut in race 1.
Go hard, guys, go hard.
Coming down.
Don't go too early, don't go too early. Up, go.
We know we're up against really tough competition. That was our expectation.
All right, guys, good effort. Wasn't going to happen today. Just going to keep pushing.
We're just going to go out and sail well, sail hard, and we can do it.
The wind is up and it's game on again.
This jockeying by INEOS happened a little late. They're in a tough spot here right now.
The starts are getting closer as the teams are sort of figuring out a few set plays.
Off we go. Take off time, catch an air. If you're in front, you're in control.
And our starts weren't good enough. We've got to turn it around. We'll need heaven and earth to do that.
5-0 and left INEOS Team UK in their wake. The Prada Cup final is far from over. getting their first win in this final.
Okay, turning up here.
It's pretty obvious what's at stake. I mean, you want to stay in the competition as long as possible, and kind of today is one of those days where you kind of got to get it done, or potentially be the end of our run. The belief is there. We'll go out and do the same things, prepared in the same way, and hopefully we can get some wins. We proved it yesterday that we're capable of winning races, and so we've just got to do the same again.
Got you just on time. Maybe a little kill to do here. One.
Race 7 Prada Cup final is underway.
Clear start.
The first race was a real hammer blow because we had a really good start. In some ways, it was the biggest performance differential between the teams that we've seen. The breeze obviously died through the race, and so going into that second race, unless a miracle happened, I couldn't really see any way we were going to get that race back. And we tried, you know, we threw everything at the start. We were super aggressive again and managed to actually get it, make it stick and get off the line ahead.
Protest up from Luna Rocha at the start of Game On, race 8.
Fast here. He's pressing. And coming on the breeze now.
I was really proud of the team. We didn't jack it in, we went down fighting.
It's closed up. INEOS, more breeze. Look at the lead now. It's so close.
Pressure hit. Good gains, lads.
170 years of hurt continues.
It's going to turn up here.
INEOS Team UK are out.
Sorry, guys. Not going to happen. Good effort, though.
Every single person in this organisation has grown tremendously in the last 4 years and worked incredibly hard to turn things around, so I'll always be very proud of the team for that. Thanks, mate. We've been exceptionally lucky to be out here racing in the Prada Cup and very, very grateful for that support. And I don't think this is the end of the story. I think we're committed to getting the America's Cup back to Britain, and we're going to learn from this, go back to the drawing board and come back and do a better job in the future.
Oh my goodness, it's had everything this. It's had thrills and spills, ups and downs, moments of despair, moments of elation. I'm just talking in general, Grant. It's had everything, this campaign. You've done 11 of these things now. Why are you putting yourself through it again and again? I mean, what is it about the Cup that keeps you coming back to it? I mean, it's like this thing that we can't let go of, isn't it? Because it has this allure, which we can't sort of put our finger on entirely, but it's a special thing that keeps drawing us back in, despite the pain it can cause. That's to you.
We're definitely on air, are we?
We're 100%. We are on air.
Okay. Well, I'll give you a serious answer. I actually really enjoy it, even though it's probably coming to an end for me, just because it's been a hell of a long time since my first Cup. The early 80s was when I started, when I was the youngest guy in the team. But what I really enjoy is being part of a group like this with one clear goal, we're really working on a tight schedule, and everyone really pushing towards the final goal of trying to win. You know, it's a clear, very clearly defined task that we've got in front of us. I enjoy the technology immensely, and I enjoy the sporting aspects of it as well. So that's why I do it, and yeah, for all the people who've been engaged in this team and many of the previous teams I've been in, it's kind of a life-changing experience. It sounds over the top, but it is. It really is something that they'll always look back on as a key part of their lives, and everyone learns a lot from being part of one of these campaigns.
And what about you two working together as well for the last 4 years? Because I remember us all sitting in our garden in Bermuda and mulling over what might be moving forward as you sort of look forward to the next version of this thing.
It's been really good, you know, like we complement ourselves well, I think. I was just... Can I tell you the story when we were in a meeting the other day and I was sprouting on about something and Ben went...
Not for the first time.
I thought maybe the relationship was sort of timing.
I was just hungover, don't worry.
Timing out.
It'd been a bit tight.
was hungover.
Tom, just tell us about INEOS's relationship as well with the team and with the Cup. I mean, this has been your first Cup campaign. I mean, how, contrasting to Grant, 11 in. I mean, how have you found it? How have the team found it at INEOS? And what experience has it been like for all of you?
It's been the most amazing experience. I think Grant sort of said it there. Just being part of this, there's something special about it, and it sort of hooks you in. And we've thoroughly enjoyed working with these guys. Have been brilliant. And I think it's clicked really well. I think the relationships have clicked really well. And we've got, thousands of INEOS employees around the world, and friends and family and suppliers and customers, and they've loved it. To feel that they're part of something this big, the pinnacle of a sport, the oldest trophy in the international sporting trophy in the world. You can't replicate that. It's been really, really special.
I mean, INEOS Sport has just mushroomed into this incredible thing now. I mean, you've got, motor racing in your armoury, football in your armoury, Elliot. I mean, so many amazing challenges that you've been part of over the last few years. I mean, and Grenadiers. How does that sit? How does the Cup sit amongst all of those sort of sporting properties that you have?
First real venture. I mean, Jim sitting down with Ben, just over 3 years ago now. This was before we got involved with cycling, before we got involved with motorsport, and it was just the scale of the challenge. I mean, Jim loves a challenge, and it doesn't get any bigger than trying to win something that the UK has not done for 170 years. And you and I were talking to Jim yesterday, and one of the things he said then was, it's a thrill when you win whether it's the big cycling trophies, whatever, but they happen every year. This doesn't happen every year, and we've never ever won it. So it's just so thrilling, and that's what's really turned us on.
Ben, what's been we talk about, it being a tricky campaign. What's been the highlight though? What's been the best bit of it for you?
Well, two things. I think from a competitive standpoint, I think the first race of the round robins was probably one of those sweet moments in sport of redemption, where we've been completely written off by the whole sailing world, sporting world, people being pretty nasty, frankly, and to come out race one and absolutely, have a fantastic race, new American Magic were the on-form challenger going into that, and to take them out in the first race, that was pretty sweet for us, given what we'd been through and the effort everyone put into turning things around. But I think from a human perspective, and Grant talked about it, Tom talked about it, seeing so many people grow through the last 4 years, especially some of the younger team members, seeing them develop, I think we all really enjoy that and take pride in that as a group of people that, okay, we didn't reach our ultimate goal, but we worked really well as a group, and people will go away from this with great memories and feel that individually they have improved as well as a team.
Yeah, I think perhaps the human side of it doesn't necessarily always come across so much, but when you think about the travelling circus that it entails and the support people around those people that are front line, it's a big role that they play. I think we've had babies born during this campaign, we've had pregnancies announced, what else have we had? We've had marriages incoming in the next few weeks or so. I mean, there's been so much more to the story, hasn't there, than just a sailing story.
Got Grant.
Well, yeah, we're up to 3 babies born in the time we're in Auckland, so that is the demographic of the team. It's a lot of young people in the team, and that's another thing that I really enjoy, working with young people and seeing them develop, as Ben says, and their enthusiasm and energy. That is really fun to be part of that.
What's been your biggest takeaway, Grant? What do you think our biggest lesson has been during this campaign?
We probably don't have long enough for that, but it's decisions that we made more than a year ago have sort of manifested themselves in the performance of the boat, and the fact that we were in the COVID world, the fact that we didn't get a chance to sail against other teams, all of that would have accelerated some of the design decision making, and so that, I think if we'd raced the pre-regattas like we'd originally planned, I think you would have seen a different boat here, because we we would have been able to check in a lot earlier, and we were resourced enough both with design and build to be able to react. But as Ben said, you know, the Christmas regatta, the changes we made since the Christmas regatta were significant and with a big impact on our performance. But if that had happened earlier, we could have gone a lot further with the moding of the, you know, with the final configuration of the boat.
The most bizarre part of these campaigns is always the assumption that when it's over, it will just be over and everyone will go back to their normal lives. I mean, there is an element to that, but it always seems to be the busiest part. It always seems to take on a sort of a life of its own in the sort of the 2 weeks of after the exit of the Cup. So, I mean, how busy is this time right now? And I'm going to ask it because everyone wants to know, are we going again?
Yeah, it's a busy time, that's for sure, in terms of, you know, packing up and protecting our assets, be that hardware and IP. That's really important that we do a good job of that. Trying to get some of the learnings down of as Grant mentioned, you know, what didn't we do well? How can we do that better before everyone, you know, disappears? Understanding a little bit what's going on with, you know, Luna Rossa and Team New Zealand, and which team, you know, depending on which team wins, where do we think the future of the Cup is going? And then obviously, you know, that goal, Tom talked about it, 170 years, never won it, got to get that job done. And I know that Jim sort of shares that passion, if you like, that determination to right that wrong in our maritime history, but it's got to be the right event. So, you know, until we know who's won it and what the future of the Cup looks like, it's hard to give, you know, a definitive answer. But certainly, it's always been my goal and the team's goal to get the Cup back to Britain, and that hasn't changed. And I'm pretty sure that that's Jim's goal too. So, yeah, things we want to move forwards. Again, I would just counter that by saying we need more details of what the next Cup looks like.
Okay.
Clear to viewers that we don't have a series next year. You know, it's not like Formula One or football. That the America's Cup stops, and then we wait for what's the next event going to look like. You know, so that's why we're standing everyone down here, and you know, just putting the team into hibernation and until we know what the future holds.
I guess, Tom, that's one of the things that's so crazy about the America's Cup, that it has no continuity at the moment. But the other thing that sort of makes it mysteriously unique and appealing, because there's so much potential there, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, Ben summed it up really well, that you can't decide what you want to do next time until you know what next time is. And we won't know what next time is until the middle of next month, when the America's Cup is finished and who's won it. We've got some clear views we've developed, I think, over the last sort of few years about what we think needs to change, about how to make this a fairer, more even match, to bring more teams in. So we've got some really clear ideas what we'd like to do. We've got the bug, let's face it, we've got the America's Cup bug here.
It's got under your skin.
It has got under our skin, there's no question. But, you know, how you do that will depend on whether you're going to bring other people with you. And, you know, if we can, you're right, the idiosyncrasies of the Cup make it unique. You don't want to get rid of them, because that's what makes this so unusual. And you know, we want to keep that, but we want to make it a fairer contest, and we want to make it a sporting contest, not a contest that's decided by lawyers and all of that sort of rubbish.
So depending on the outcome next month, you make your call. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah. We need to see what happens next month, and then we can sit down and decide where we go from there.
Okay. Key learnings from this one. I mean, I remember we all do, on Sunday evening, Jim and Ben and Grant stood up and made a speech to the team. And one of the key things that Jim picked up on were his sort of takeaways of this campaign, and he talks about character and resolve and resilience. I mean, what were the greatest takeaways from an INEOS perspective from this team, and how they've portrayed themselves and how they've behaved in the last?
I mean, I think the first thing to say is we have been so impressed with the team, with the the way these two guys have managed the team has been fantastic. The team spirit, the team atmosphere. On Sunday night, when everyone's feeling down but having a drink or two and being pretty open and honest, what came across for us more than anything was how the whole team said this is one of the best campaigns we've ever had because we feel part of one team. There's no sort of infighting. It's been fantastic, and that's what we need to retain going forward. So that's the biggest takeaway. Yeah, we've got lots of learning. We've got lots of learning, as Grant said, about the boat, things that we didn't get right, that we've learned from. We wouldn't do it that way again. We do it differently again. We set out to try and put Ben on the start line with a boat that was competitive, and we didn't manage that. But, have another go. We have a bloody good chance of doing that.
Ben, one of the things that's really come out of this Cup as well is we've become really good mates with the Kiwis. I mean, we are really, as a community, they have really enjoyed us being here. I think we've loved being here. I mean, it's been so special to be here in a time when everyone else is dealing with all sorts of hideousness around the world, and New Zealand's managed to deal so ably with coronavirus. I mean, just your take on that and your take on, the country as a whole really getting behind us when we were the underdogs and really sort of going with us on that journey too as almost their second team. It feels like that's what we've become.
Well, look, I think Kiwis are a pretty respectful bunch, and I'd like to think Brits are also, and so that makes for a good mix. And they have a fantastic environment here in New Zealand in terms of this sort of work hard, play hard approach to life. Obviously, the country, the Mother Nature speaks for itself here. It is one of, if not the most beautiful place on earth, and so it's not been lost on any of us just how lucky we've been to be here in the middle of a global pandemic. So we're incredibly grateful for that, and I think maybe that's shone through, and the Kiwis have appreciated that, and certainly I think taking the team to their heart a little bit. I think some of the challenges we faced early on and being written off, everyone kind of loves an underdog, don't they? And perhaps that's a part of it as well. So yes, we've made some great friendships since we've been here, and I think that again, one of the nice things about the Cup, you travel to different countries around the world, be that Bermuda or America or now New Zealand, and you make friendships for life, which I know Grant has done over so many years. You've
got so many
friends. You can go
Grant.
anywhere in the world and you can go and have a beer with,
you know someone everywhere.
Yeah. So that's been great, and we are, as I say, incredibly grateful to New Zealand for hosting us in the first place, and everyone's really, really, really enjoyed being based here.
Yeah, one of the things I suppose on one of the sadnesses of the situation of being here is that we haven't been able to have the travelling support that we normally have. Normally we would have so many more people here to enjoy this with us, which has been a real shame. But a word on the super fans back home who've been getting up at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, pulling their hair out, pulling their teeth out, worrying about us every step of this journey. I mean, what about the support back home? They're still watching. They're at the other side of that camera.
I know. Well, it's been incredible. It really has. So we're waking up in the morning and, all these messages that come through overnight, so during the day UK time. And, I just could see so many people engaged, so many youngsters engaged, which is great. And, people who are non-sailors, I think, which is the most exciting thing. And that, in sailing I remember after San Francisco, and the 2013, the 8-1 comeback, and the foiling multi-hulls, and massive excitement around that. And I remember going back home, walking down the street in London, and some guy stopping me and saying, "Oh, that's a sailor. I'm not a sailor, but that was amazing. I was watching it in the pub with my mates." I mean, nobody ever watched sailing in the pub, But it's that sort of resonance that I think we've had with this Cup, that it's really captured people's imagination. The boats are fantastic, got the real wow factor. There's obviously been lockdown and people are frustrated, but this is something which they've been able to follow and put a bit of a smile back on people's faces. And okay, we didn't get all the way, but we will do, and hopefully we've got some more followers there that will be with us for the rest of this journey.
Talking about putting smiles on faces, we've got the team party tonight, and there's a Miami Vice theme. So my question to Grant is, you might have to borrow Ben's mic because yours isn't working. Ever since you threw it on the sofa, it stopped working. So we haven't heard anything since.
Turn it off.
But my point being, have you selected your finest Don Johnson outfit for this evening?
Yeah, but yeah, my wife's been out shopping. I'll have a white coat,
That's dangerous.
slick back hair. I'll be running the Don Johnson look, don't worry.
Tom, how about you? You ready? You prepared?
I've got myself the most hideous shirt I could find in town, so yeah, I'm up there, I'm ready.
Ben? Yeah, well, I haven't done anything,
Have you
so I
been
don't know
any
what
shopping
you've
for me?
arranged.
Unlikely.
Well, no, apparently Bellatrix has been out and about on the town trying to locate the best and most humiliating outfit she can find for her father for tonight.
Bloody hell.
It could be good all round. Anyway, what's left to say is well done, guys. We're all so proud of you. 170 years of hurt continues, but hopefully for not too much longer. We hope to see you next time.